A very pleasant Friday morning, mga classmates. Today is another Infoteach Day. And I am glad to see you again today, mga classmates at mga ka-meetups. Welcome everyone to this webinar series from PLDT and UP Open University. This is Em Samulaza, and I will be your MC for today's session. Sabi nga ni Sir Nonong, ako po si MC Ems. Okay, so for our live chats, good morning, Mark Irvin. We also have Angel Clarice, M. Hamelarin, okay. Good morning, Lee Sian. Okay, ang daming nanonood ngayon ha. Sino pa ba to? Graham R. Valiente, grade 8. Good morning. Okay, so for today, we also have participants from India and United Arab Emirates. So this webinar series is being conducted as part of the PLDT Infoteach Outreach Program Phase 6. And we would like to remind our Infoteach Phase 6 ITOs and master trainers that we need to ask our students to register at UPOU Massive Open Distance E-Learning, or better yet known as MODEL. Remind ko lang din po na kailangan po yan para mag-qualify tayo sa quiz contest. So sayang naman po kung hindi tayo magkaroon ng chance na manalo sa mga prizes from PLDT. So once again, please be reminded that we have a total of 10 webinar sessions. So nasa 9th session na tayo ngayon, and after this, isa na lang ang natitira. So until next week na lang tayo for this webinar session or webinar series. So don't forget, our regular meetup is every Friday, 10 to 11:30. Teka, meron bang nakakumpleto dito ng yung last 8 sessions, tapos nandito din today? Meron ba sa inyo na nagpaplanong kompletuhin lahat yung 10 sessions? Okay, wala pang sumasagot. Tingnan po natin later. So we are airing live via UPOU FICS Facebook page, UPOU Networks website, UPOU Networks Facebook page. So last week, we heard a lecture from an ITO from the Division of Dumaguete City. So si Sir Kim Paborada, ang ating naging lecturer last week. Hi Sir Kim, good morning. We will hear another lecture from another master trainer from Cagayan de Oro City. And talk about Introduction to Sustainable Development Goals. Hello po ulit sa mga taga Cagayan de Oro City. So if you can recall, yung module 7 natin, taga CDO din, di ba? Okay, just a few reminders on the issuance of certificates. As shown here on screen, you may scan the QR code or go to the URL indicated. The certificates will be sent to those who completed their evaluation forms and were able to answer 7 out of 10 questions correctly. So again, 7 na tamang sagot ang kailangan natin para makuha natin yung certificates. Kaya makinig ng mabuti kay resource person mamaya, okay? So please don't forget to evaluate this event and answer the questions. The online evaluation form will start receiving responses right after this event. So wag muna niyong hanapin ngayon. After ng event, makikita niyo po yung evaluation, okay? And this will be available until Sunday at 12 noon. So, as usual, to welcome us, to give us an inspiration, let us hear from the head of the PLDT Community Relations, Ms. Catherine P. Diaz de Rivera. Good morning, Ms. Cat.
Good morning, Ems. Good morning, everyone. Welcome po to the 9th session na. Lapit-lapit. of the Infoteach Outreach webinar series conducted for you by PLDT and UPOU. Kamusta na po kayo, my dear students? It's Friday na naman once again. Magkakasama na naman ulit tayo for our weekly dose of valuable learnings. Do you look forward to Fridays to learn something new? I hope you do because I myself, I'm always excited to listen to our speakers and learn from them. How about you? I would like to know which of the topics we have discussed so far were you most interested in. Please write your answers in the comment section and maybe we can read them here later. Have you heard about Greta Thunberg? She's the cute Swedish girl who has been campaigning for the environment since she was 15. She has challenged world leaders to take action for climate mitigation, meaning to limit global warming and its related effects. Now at 18, Greta continues to pursue and campaign for her advocacy. Another young activist who bravely stood up for her convictions is Malala Yousafzai from Pakistan. She is an advocate for female education in a country where girls are prevented from getting any education. At 17, Malala won the Nobel Peace Prize, the youngest to win the prestigious award. Why am I mentioning these remarkable young activists? It's because having an advocacy is something that even young people like you can pursue. This is part of our topic today, which is an introduction to Sustainable Development Goals. I believe that it will open our eyes to a macro level kind of perspective, a bird's eye view of how all our efforts, the collective efforts of various CSR groups from private corporations and foundations, like this program on digital literacy, that we are committed to take part in the big picture. It's a universal plan for all countries to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure prosperity for all. These goals are set to provide a focus for the international community's development efforts until a particular set date. I believe it's 2030, year 2030. And these goals have a corresponding progress to be measured. I hope today's learnings will give each of you a wider perspective and an understanding of the context of our advocacy. And just being present here online, having the initiative to learn and understand, you will realize that you are already contributing and taking part in something big. You are already exerting an effort to learn and be a better person. So now, let us all actively listen while having fun and learning. Don't forget to our distinguished speakers today who will impart to us their knowledge on sustainable development goals, a significant topic for all of us who want to make a difference in our society, our country, and the world. Madamong gid nga salamat. Thank you so much. Maayong buntag. Good morning. Back to you, Ems.
Salamat, Miss Kat. So, yan welcome remarks pa lang. May nakuha na tayong mga information galing kay Miss Kat. Thank you, Miss Kat. Okay, so for now, I would like to introduce to you our moderator. So, sukin na natin to. I'm sure mag-e-enjoy na naman tayo today with him as our moderator. So, Sir Nonong, as he is fondly called, is a powerful motivational speaker who keeps on top of PLDT's competency development programs and organization capability interventions. His spot-on style in communicating his insights and engaging employees has paved the way to his numerous achievements as an educator in the corporate academy. So para lalo tayong ma-inspire, mga classmates, let us all welcome Mr. Jose Gregorio F. Noriega, the Employee Development Head of the PLDT Learning and Development Group. Sir Nonong, good morning. Happy to see you again.
Okay, great to be on board again. Okay, thank you very much. So Good morning mga mag-aaral. This morning's topic concerns all of us. I mean all of us. No one can afford to be a passive spectator. So the goal for today's session is to get everyone in this virtual room eventually engaged when it comes to sustainable development goals. Well, many times nowadays when I get tasked to facilitate planning workshop, there's always this strong focus on future-proofing the organization and all its support systems. Kasi we cannot operate as a single entity. We now find our concerns intertwined for a common cause. So once again, I request everyone to be a sponge. What does a sponge do? It soaks in and absorbs. Maraming dagdag dunong at pulot aral na naman ang magaganap sa pagtitipong ito. The wealth of learnings we will experience from our resource person and panelists may just be the ultimate reality checks on the needed call to action when it comes to living comfortable and decent lives. Eh yun naman ang adhikain nating lahat, di po ba? Ito na ang mga malulupit na wake-up calls. So who can dare be indifferent? What one does every single day of his life, or even what one fails to do, can impact a whole community, a bigger society, and the entire planet Earth. Napakalawak ng tema natin ngayong umaga. We will talk about nurturing our natural environment, responsible energy consumption, equality, health and wellness, human rights, education, innovation, nation building, global accountabilities, and many more. I don't want to preempt our resource person. I will not steal the thunder from her presentation. Now, ang kagandahan nito, through it all, you might just discover your own personal advocacy or the cause that you are most passionate about. We can never argue with passion, you know. If you pursue them, it is likely you will thrive and excel in them. And who knows, you will emerge from this session as a future sustainability champion. So with that, I'd like to introduce our first guest panelist in the person of Dr. Roel Bermejo. So allow me to introduce him further. With his multiple designations, appointments, and assignments as SDS, Schools Division Superintendent, for the Division of Iloilo presently, okay? So this started 2019. But prior to that, same position, SDS for the Division of Copies, discovered 2018 to 2019. Even before that, also SDS for Rojas City, Division of Rojas City, covering the years 2014 to 2018. And he stands as Career Executive Service Officer last 2013, okay, effective March 2013 for DepEd, Division of Cadiz City. He has obtained the scholarships from the Non-Pencil and Paper and Development Assessment from the Australian Council for Educational Research, ACER, in Melbourne, Australia for the summer of 20,000. At marami pa, marami pa. So let me turn over the floor right now for a short video clip to Dr. Roel Bermejo. Let's welcome him.
A big hello and a big hooray. Welcome back as we move forward. My salutation and admiration to the intelligent and the techno-intellectual participants of this PLDT University of the Philippines Open University webinar series. Today, we will have an interface of diverse audience learning in their own way, doing their stuff, and understanding the perks of life, working on different perspectives, but at the end of the day, we'll work for a common purpose, working for sustainable development goals. What a great dream! And so let us begin our day with a smile One way to do it is to remember our childhood fondest memories. Maybe perhaps eating ice cream, cotton candies, and chocolates. Let us aim for the best with happy thoughts. We are happy when we discover that we can do many things. We are happier when we have our loved ones and favorite things with us. Can you still recall this common question among our students? What is your favorite subject? English and Filipino are not just subjects. They are messages of the hearts. Mathematics is not just a subject. It is about facts and standards. Science is not just a subject. It is about life. It is about learning this world. It means exploration, experimentation, and discovery. Science is oftentimes the way of making sense and making explanations about matters and events. Oftentimes we say, there is always a scientific explanation of everything in life. The Department of Education is determined to achieve its educational and development goals. The K-12 basic education curriculum, in its spiral progression, tells us that the gradual unfolding and discovering of life begins at age 5, when children wonder about twinkling little stars. Then later, they learn about the solar system. They study the galaxy and the universe. As they grow older, they learn that raindrops are not actually lemon drops. Friends, science discovery is not always about modernization and technology. It is not just about moving forward, because the past has more to offer for us to learn better. What this earth is offering now is the effect of what we have done earlier. That affects the future. Today is yesterday's tomorrow, and tomorrow's yesterday. Today's modern technology promotes the 21st century learners. In their fingertips, they navigate the world and discover the universe. How amazed we are that with these discoveries and innovations, life is made easy and comfortable. Our response to make it as a machinery and platform to build better schools, engineering a better world, and most importantly, building better future. With our partners, we earned unlimited resources spread evenly and thickly. This engagement allows us to use different analytical tools to measure our strategic directions, establish theory of change, and making sure that we will achieve our vision and development goals. Allow me to recognize and say thank you to our partners, the PLDT, UP Open University, for extending the stretch of your reach and bringing packages of digital intelligence to our learners through this webinar series. To our participants, I challenge you to strengthen yourself first. Rally through corporate communication as you go beyond what was tried and tested and choose the best thing to do. Whatever you have learned, use it at the right time, at the right situation, and when it is needed. Sustainability happens if we strengthen our mental energy to pick up information with our critical thinking skills and use our physical energy to perform. Sustainability is achieved if people see windows of opportunity. Sustainability is influenced by experiences that are rationalized. Sustainability happens when we know and we care for others, especially our learners, at the same time. Because, as we always say, nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. Another, sustainability is when we give our love and sincerest concern for our children and the children of tomorrow. Irrefutably, development has no limits. It is beyond what we can see, feel, hear, and imagine. It is beyond our imagination. Friends, let development, scientific knowledge, technology, skills, and innovations be instruments in making this world a livable place, a nurturing home for survival of mankind and for holding human dignity. Thank you very much and enjoy the session.
Público, Infoteach.
Wow, okay. What a great way to start. Our learning appetite has been stirred. So, Dr. Ruel is a fan of lifelong learning, definitely. And his passion is very contagious. So he gave us glimpses into the concept of sustainability. And didn't we realize that every day, from the time we wake up in the morning to the time we retire in the evening, so much of what we do in between can either enable the attainment of sustainable development goals or hinder the pursuit. While ang daming palaisipan ngayon pala, but let's not be hard on ourselves kasi we are all guilty when it comes to being amiss with the right thing to do. Aminado tayo dyan. Ang mahalaga, we consider ourselves works in progress. And it begins with awareness. It definitely will not end with awareness. We must fire ourselves. Sabi nga ni Dr. Bermejo, with enough idealism to want something better for ourselves and for future generations. Now, before I turn over the floor to our main speaker, we'd like to invite all the participants to send us your questions through the UPOU FICS Facebook page. There, it's flashed, okay? You see the 3 different channels, the UPOU Network's website, chat box, and the UPOU Network's Facebook page. We will be reading through your comments. Please populate them with your insights, okay? We like to see evidence of engaged learners when we see you log in and share your insights. Now, okay, we are going to introduce our main speaker for today in the person of Jurgen Aranas Romulo. She is a secondary high school teacher of Kantiwan, okay, how about Kanitoan, okay? National High School Division of Cagayan de Oro City. She has been teaching in the Department of Education for 7 years. She served as trainer for PLDT Infoteach, suki natin, okay, for Phase 4 in 2017, and a master trainer for the Division of Cagayan de Oro City for PLDT Infoteach for 2018. So magkasunod na taon yun, 2017, 2018. We had her on board as subject matter expert. So I'd like us to welcome, for the next 40 minutes, I will surrender the floor to our distinguished resource person, Jurgen Aranas Romulo.
Thank you so much, Mr. Greg, for that kind introduction. Good morning po sa lahat ng nandito at nanonood sa ating session ngayon. Welcome po, and my warmest greetings to the DepEd officials, teachers, and staff, also with the UPOU and PLDT personnel. Welcome po sa session natin ngayon, and I hope that this day will be productive for all of us. Okay, let me share to you my presentation para po may matutunan tayo this morning. I hope you can see my screen. Okay, to begin with, we have this Module 9, the Introduction to Sustainable Development Goals. This morning po, ito po ang mga objectives natin. At the end of the module, you should be able to first enumerate the 17 SDGs. And that is under our first topic, the Sustainable Development Goals. Also, you need to describe how you as an individual can contribute to the attainment of SDGs. And that will be under the second topic, the individual contribution to the attainment of SDGs. Okay, to motivate us, if there is hope in the future, there is literally power in the present. That is according to Zig Ziglar. Okay, let's have first the overview about these SDGs. SDGs, or the Sustainable Development Goals, were born at the United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development in Rio de Janeiro in 2012. And these goals were adopted by all United Nations member states in 2015. Gladly, our country has been a member of United Nations since October 24, 1945 po. Okay, moreover, these SDGs are also known as global goals. And it aimed to meet the urgent environmental, political, and economic challenges facing our world. And of course, the major objective is all people enjoy peace and prosperity in 2030. So nag-start po siya noong 2015, and it is a 15-year long-term goals na ini-aim po ng lahat ng nations or lahat ng states under United Nations. And we are now in 2021. So 9 years to go before 2030. Okay, these are the Sustainable Development Goals. There are 17 of them. So let's have one by one. I will give you this morning a quick update lang po on each goal. Kasi po mayroon pong pandemya na nangyari, di ba? Since 2020. So let's try to have a visit or information or update tungkol po sa how the states or the countries are reaching this goal kahit po may pandemya, or ano po ba ang epekto ng pandemya sa pagkamit natin ng mga goals na ito. Okay, for the first goal, then no poverty, the UN aims to end poverty in all its form everywhere. But during po sa paglaganap ng COVID-19, the COVID-19 itself causes the first increase in global poverty in decades. Lalo pong tumaas ang kahirapan ng dahil po sa COVID-19. And related to that is the second goal, which is the zero hunger. UN aims to end hunger, achieve food security, and improves nutrition and promote sustainable agriculture. But because of the presence po of the pandemic, there is an additional threat to food system. Marami pong nagugutom dahil po sa tinatawag natin na pandemya na COVID-19. Okay, with that, a little trivia lang po, that most people living in extreme poverty lived in sub-Saharan Africa. Moreover, this is the saddest thing po na malalaman natin ngayon, that the world produced enough food to feed the whole people. Diba? We produce enough food to feed the whole world, but it is not equally distributed, and not everyone has access. And remember that there are 41 tonelada ng pagkain are wasted in the world per second. So maraming nasasayang na pagkain at marami din pong tao na nagugutom. Okay, to continue, we have here the third goal, good health and well-being. The United Nations ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages. But the presence of the pandemic interrupted the child immunization programs in around 70 countries. Kasi po, di ba, dumating yung time na nag-lockdown, bawal yung mga gathering, bawal ilabas ang mga bata. So nag-interrupt din po yung mga immunization program, even in our country. Okay, the fourth goal is the quality education. United Nations ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. However, nang dahil po sa COVID-19, there is now the inequalities in education. So mas lalo pong dumami yung mga out-of-school youth natin. Gladly, that the Department of Education po has this initiative having different modalities, the modular, the TV-based, the online, the radio-based, para lang po i-cater at i-continue po yung education natin kahit po may pandemya. Kaya lang po, sad to say, marami din pong bata ang out-of-school youth kahit pa mayroong mga offer ang DepEd na iba't ibang modalities. Dahil din po sa kahirapan na dala ng pandemya. Okay, to proceed, this is now the 5th goal, gender equality. UN aims to achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. So, may mga kaso po na naririnig tayo, mga news po na naririnig natin or nakikita natin sa TV, that the lockdowns are increasing the risk of violence against women and girls. So, mayroon po mga physical abuse, sexual abuse, at psychological abuse. Nag-increase po siya dahil din po sa pandemya. Even that we are staying at home, may risk pa rin na nangyayari for those, for some women and children or women and girls, particularly women and girls. And now, women are in the front lines of fighting the coronavirus. According to the United Nations, women account for 70% of health and social workers. The 6th goal po, clean water and sanitation. United Nations ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. So despite of progress, billions still lack of water and sanitation services. And remember that in this COVID-19 pandemic, diba, the best way or the most effective way to avoid this one or to prevent COVID-19 is to have this hand washing. Kaya lang po, may problema po sa kulang po yung mga hand washing facility at yung iba po talaga walang access po sa tubig. Okay, with that, if you heard this one, the Department of Education have this program, WINS or the Wash in School, which is designed to achieve learning and health outcomes for or of the Filipino students. If you try to remember, during the face-to-face pa na wala pang pandemya, di ba mayroong mga toothbrushing activity, mayroong group hand washing activity, mayroong feeding program, that is po under sa WINS na or Wash in School na program ng Department of Education. Okay, to continue, our 7th goal is affordable and clean energy. The United Nations aims to ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. Ito po yung problema. Affordable and reliable energy is critical for health facilities. There is 1 in 4 not electrified in some developing countries. That is, according to the United Nations, during the 2018 po na data. And remember that this COVID-19 attacks all the countries, all the nations in the world. At kung i-imagine po natin, lahat ng health facilities are very busy. So paano na lang kung walang, paano na lang mawalan ng kuryente? So what will happen? That is now a very big challenge to all our health facilities or health providers. Okay, number 8, decent work and economic growth. The United Nations promotes sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all. The COVID-19 implication, ito pong nangyari. The world faces the worst economic recession since the Great Depression. If you look at or if you try to watch all over the news or even in the social medias, maraming nawalan ng trabaho, maraming mga kumpanya or mga businesses po ang nag-shutdown dahil din po sa pandemya. So maraming naapektuhan at dahil dyan ay nagkaroon po ng economic recession. Nagkaroon po ng problema sa ekonomiya. The 9th goal, Industry innovation and infrastructure. United Nations aim to build resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation. However, during the COVID-19 pandemic, the aviation industry has suffered the steepest decline in history. During po sa pandemya, di ba, bawal po na nag-lockdown po yung ibang country. So, and even our locality here in the Philippines, bawal po magbiyahe sa Cebu or wala pong mga close po yung mga vacation sites po natin. So, affected po yung aviation industry. So yung mga airlines natin, and there was also a vlog I have seen in the social media na yung pilot ano na lang siya, gumawa siya other initiative na para lang siya kumita kasi nag-close or nag-lessen yung mga personnel ng aviation industry kung saan siya nagtatrabaho noon. So malaki po talaga ang impact ni COVID-19. The 10th goal is reduce inequalities. The United Nations aim to reduce inequality within and among countries. During the COVID-19, the most vulnerable groups are being hit hardest by the pandemic. We all know that the elderly ones were very affected and at high risk po sila sa pandemya. Buti na lang po, di ba, mayroon pong vaccine na ngayon, but based on my pananaw, hindi po lahat, di ba, ng matatanda ay nabakunahan na at this moment. So, the elderly ones, yung mga PWD, yung mga may sakit na, may maintenance, yung mga bata, yung mga buntis na babae. So, even though na we try hard, we are trying, the countries, we're trying hard para po mawala itong issue ng inequality, but because of the presence of the COVID-19, kailangan po, di ba, mag-stay at home po yung mga lola, yung mga bata, bawal po ilabas. So, yung access po sa mga going to mall or para bumili ng mga pagkain, nililimit lang po ng ating gobyerno. Bawal po palabasin kasi yung mga matatanda at bata. So, mayroon pong konting deviation po, di ba, na nangyayari ngayon tungkol po sa with regards to equality. Okay, moreover po, Goal 11, Sustainable Cities and Communities. All the countries under the United Nations aim to make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. Pero ano pong nangyari, di ba? During the COVID-19, over 90% COVID cases are in urban areas. So ito po yung mga cities, mga town, kadalasan po, di ba, nasa syudad yung mga mararaming kaso. Parang sinasabi ng UN na konti lang po yung mga cases from the rural areas and mostly were from the urban areas. 12 is the responsible consumption and production. UN ensures sustainable consumption and production patterns. During the pandemic, this is one of the positive po na dala ng pandemya. The pandemic offers an opportunity to develop recovery plans that build a more sustainable future. So, 'di ba, dahil po sa pandemya, yung mga bansa ay gumagawa ng mga inisyatibo kung saan related po siya sa Sustainable Development Goals. Halimbawa na lang po yung pagpapabakuna kasi yung iba hesitant, di ba, sa pagkakaroon ng mga immunization. So ngayon, marami ng mga opportunities na binibigay yung mga gobyerno para din sa mga tao, even in this time. Okay, another trivia po. Did you know that the Bangladesh was the first country that banned plastic bags? But the Bangladesh is a country of South Asia. So ito po ay, di ba, a very amazing fact na sila po yung unang nag-ban ng plastic bags. And this one po, an equivalent of 1,600 shopping trolleys of waste ends up in the sea every minute around the world. So imagine how big is that shopping trolley, and that is every minute. That's why our country and also the United Nations want to address this issue, this environmental issue. Talking about this environmental issue, we have here the 13th goal, climate action. The United Nations aim to take urgent action to combat climate change and its impact. And now this is also a good positive impact po na nangyari sa pandemya. The COVID-19 may result in a 6% drop in greenhouse gas emission for 2020. Remember, during the lockdown, walang lalabas ng bahay, walang biyahe, walang, 'di ba, walang ano po, walang gagamit ng kotse, parang ganun yung ibig sabihin. So lesson po yung greenhouse gas emission. But ito po, it is still short of 7.6 annual reduction required to limit the global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. I tried to remember mga 20 years ago, basta summer hindi ganito kainit. But this time, 'di ba, if you try to grabe ang init ng summer sa Pilipinas. 'Di ba? Grabe yung impact ng climate change. So sana po in 2030 rather, in 2030 sana po makamit natin tong goals na ito. Okay, 14th goal, life below water. The United Nations aim to conserve and sustainably use the oceans, sea, and marine resources for sustainable development. This is also one of the positive impact po ng pandemya. The drastic reduction in human activity brought about by COVID-19 may be a chance for oceans to recuperate. Kasi po, 'di ba, bawal na po yung mga bakasyonan, wala na yung during the lockdown nag-close po yung mga beaches, and sometimes po nag-close din po yung mga activities like scuba diving. So hindi po na masyadong na-disturb yung ocean natin during the pandemic. But I guess this time there are lots of part of our in our country that is starting to operate. But hopefully, kailangan pa rin natin i-address yung goal na ito. We need to conserve the resources below the water. And that's include the fishes, the marine life po. Goal 15, life on land. So the United Nations aim to protect, restore, and promote sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems, sustainably manage forests, combat desertification, and halt and reverse land degradation, and halt biodiversity loss. Ito po, wildlife trafficking disrupts ecosystems and contributes to the spread of infectious diseases. So ito po ang mga nangyayari, no? Kaya alam niyo ba that along with the forests, the oceans are known as the lungs of the earth. Kasi sa forest, di ba, it's very highly diverse, maraming puno, maraming mga animals. So mayroong good exchange of oxygen and CO2. Mayroong gumagamit mayroong nagre-release ng oxygen, mayroong gumagamit ng CO2. But also ito, 'di ba, the oceans are known as the lungs of the earth. Bakit kaya? Because po may tinatawag tayong phytoplanktons. Ito po yung mga microscopic na algae. So sila po ang number one source ng oxygen and also they recycle CO2. So kaya po kino-consider yung ocean na isa sa or consider as lung of the earth. Goal 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions. The United Nations aim to promote peaceful and inclusive societies for sustainable development, provide access to justice for all, and build effective, accountable, and inclusive institutions at all levels. But now, di ba, our country also adopted this freedom of information laws. So isa po yun na inadapt na ng ating bansa. Pero ito yung problem. During the pandemic, 60% of the countries or of countries have prison overcrowding, risking the spread of COVID-19. So maraming, di ba, kung napansin nyo sa mga balita, maraming mga laws, mga batas na isinasagawa to control the crowd against COVID-19. And some of those, di ba, yung iba nga, ginagawa, nakikita natin sa social media na pinapaano sila, yung iba pinupunta sa mga bilangguan. So it's very very parang critical po kung gano'n, di ba? Imagine isang tao COVID positive tapos naano siya sa bilangguan. So it's a very risky po na case. Goal 17, partnerships for the goals. The United Nations aim to strengthen the means of implementation and revitalize the global partnership for sustainable development. But because of the COVID-19, remittances to low and middle income countries and economic lifeline for many households are projected to fall. As I have mentioned earlier, that also not only in the Philippines, but sa ibang bansa, maraming mga kumpanya na nag-shutdown. So, of course, marami tayong OFWs. So, those remittances po na galing sa mga OFW, so ano pong nangyayari? According to the UN, projected to fall para pong nag-decrease po yung mga remittances dahil din po sa pagbagsak ng ekonomiya. Okay, in 2050, the world population is expected to reach 9.7 billion. In 2020, according to the United Nations, our world population reaches 7.1 billion. So, ganun po ka-dami. Okay, we are done with our first topic, the Sustainable Development Goals. And now the question is, what can I do to save the world? What can you do to save the world? So, lahat po tayo ay may pwedeng gawin. Okay, we have here the Lazy Person's Guide to Saving the World. This is according to the United Nations. So, di ba yung katamaran daw, pero let's try if it is being tamad talaga. Okay, there are different levels that this lazy person po ang ini-indicate nito. So, the level 1, the sofa superstar. The level 2, the household hero. Level 3, neighborhood nice guy. And level 4, exceptional employee. Okay, what are the things that you can do from your couch? This is under the level 1, the sofa superstar. First is save electricity. Okay, kung hindi po natin ginagamit yung appliances natin, yung ilaw, let's try to plug it out, di ba? Para po makasave tayo ng kuryente. Also, pay your bills online or via mobile. We have lots of apps, di ba, na pwedeng gamitin at this moment para bayaran yung bills natin. So, sabihin nyo sa mama nyo na, mama, instead na pumunta ka doon, why not magbayad tayo online? The nice thing, if you pay online, hindi ka na aalis ng bahay, di ba? So, hindi ka nagagastos ng pamasahe. So, it is also cheaper. Mas makakasave tayo kapag nagpipay tayo via online or via mobile. Okay, this one, speak up. It is, alam ko na you are still, young. So try to use your voice to speak up. Try to tell to your parents, to your friends, even to the community, to your leaders na we need also to do something. We can create innovations about about addressing these sustainable goals, di ba? Sustainable development goals. So we need to use our voice. Sayang po, di ba? Paano na lang, ano na lang ang madarat na ng mga next generation kung tuluyan na pong masisira ang mundo. So let's try to speak up. Let's use our voice. This one, share, don't just lie. In the social media, marami pong mga videos or mga tutorials or anything that very informative na mga videos na ah, tungkol sa mga goals na ito. Halimbawa po is pagre-recycle, di ba? Merong mga videos paano i-recycle ang bagay na ito and so on. So mayroon ding mga videos on how to deal with children to avoid bullying, something like that. So do not just like the video. Try to share. Every share natin, may isang tao dyan na pag makita niya, mabasa na niyan, he or she can reflect and learn from that video. So let's try to use or maximize the use of social media. Ito po yung sinasabi ko kanina. Turn off the lights kung hindi po ginagamit, di ba? Sayang po yung ating kuryente at kung mapapansin niyo, tumataas po ang presyo ng kuryente. So let's try to save whatever we can save. Report online bullies. Because of this pandemic, lots of cyberbullying happen. So let's do something. And of course, it's a challenge to all of us na wag po sana tayong maging bully. Let's help po, no? How can we achieve peace kung tayo mismo po ang gumagawa ng mga bagay-bagay na nakasisira ng mga relasyon. So, yung mga bullies, online bullies, yung mga prank, 'di ba? Yung mga pagpa-prank na sometimes lead to accidents. So, let's try to control po our attitude. It's okay to have fun, but please don't let anyone to get hurt from that act. Let's think po. Kailangan po natin yang isipin bago po tayo gumagawa ng mga bagay-bagay. And also stay informed. We need to know updates. What is our government doing? What is our school doing? What is our community doing with all this aspect that concerns the safety ng mga tao po, 'di ba? And even to to our environment. Okay, level 2, household hero. What are the things that you can do at home? Ito po, air dry your hair and clothes. So kasi nakikita natin, 'di ba, yung iba gumagamit ng mga hair dryer or yung iba gumagamit ng mga automatic washing machine na paglabas ng damit, naka partially dry na yung damit. So let's try to use the nature yung natural air lang po, 'di ba? So kung imagine niyo, 'di ba, kapag isasampay niyo yung mga damit tapos under the heat of the sun, it's also good way of killing those mga germs or yung mga bacteria na nasa damit. So kailangan po natin gamitin yung mga natural resources natin. I-avoid natin yung hair dryer kung pwede. Kung magwa-washing machine man, dapat din fully loaded. What I mean is, kung isa lang man yung damit mo, hindi maglaba ka na lang, di ba? I-hand wash mo na lang. Parang ganon. Okay. Take short shower. Mainit ang panahon ng Pilipinas ngayon. So 5 to 10 minutes shower is very good na. Huwag naman po masyadong magsayang ng tubig. Kasi sinabi nga nila, di ba? Every drop counts. Ito po. Eat less meat, poultry, and fish. Let's reconsider vegetables. Bakit ba, 'di ba? Bakit ba kailangan less yung consumption natin ng meat, poultry, and fish? Though these foods are good sources of protein, but remember that if you try to imagine, lots of resources are needed for the production of meat, for the production of poultry, for the production of fish. So maraming resources na ginagamit, 'di ba? Gumagamit tayo ng mga heating at cooling equipments. So what if kung vegetables lang, 'di ba? Less yung makukonsume na resources natin. So hindi sinasabi na huwag nang kumain, but let's try to consider vegetables. Next is compost food scraps. Remember, composting is very good way of recycling nutrients. So yung nutrients po ng mga nabubulok na mga pagkain, di ba po ginagamit din po yan ng mga ng lupa as nutrition. So why not do that, di ba? Kung nagko-compose ka ng food scraps tapos nagtatanim ka ng gulay, big big way po 'yon na nakakatulong sa environment. Recycle. So alam na natin, 'di ba, maraming mga tutorials ngayon online or sa social media kung paano natin i-recycle yung mga bagay-bagay. Let's have our creativity or mga artistic attitudes natin, kailangan nating ilabas through recycling. Also, buy minimally packaged food. Adjust thermostat. So napakainit ng panahon ngayon sa Pilipinas, gumagamit tayo ng ventilador, ng aircon. So maybe we can have it yung hindi masyadong malamig, or kapag hindi natin ginagamit or walang tao na nakastay sa kwarto, i-turn off po natin yan. Okay, replace all the appliances with energy efficient and light bulbs. Mayroon po tayong LED sa market. That is also a good, environmental friendly po siya na ilaw. And also we have this inverter na mga appliances. So like mga air conditioner, mga refrigerator, those inverters can save energy consumption. So kung may napansin kayo sa inyong mga appliances, yung parang yellow na tag, yung energy guide, tell your parents that before they purchase appliances, try to look on the energy guide. So the higher po yung energy efficiency is the better. Okay, level 3. What are the things you can do in your neighborhood? Okay, first is shop local. So let's support our local products. Ito po, bike, walk, and take public transport. Ito po is a big challenge, no? Kasi ngayon, limited po yung transportation natin. Sometimes po, like dito po sa CDO, limited po yung makakasakay sa public transportation sa mga PUJ natin. So, kung lang po, short distance lang po yung lalakarin natin, why not we have this using bicycle po or maglalakad tayo. It can also help us exercise, 'di ba, our body. At the same time po, nakasave po tayo na nabawasan po yung carbon footprints po natin. Use refillable water bottles and coffee cup. Yes, ako ito, ginagawa ko ito. Lagi ako nagbabaon ng water bottles ko, yung water bottle sa school. Kasi, of course, aside sa makakasave ako, hindi ako laging bumibili, so malalaman ko kung magkano ng water na na-intake ko for the whole day. So gumamit tayo ng mga yung mga refillable water bottles natin. Tapos yung coffee cup, we can use our mug. We can just wash it after we use, pero wag naman sana yung mga styro na cup, yung mga di ba? It's additional waste to our environment. Okay, also bring your own bag when you shop. Yes, we have the so-called eco bag. I don't know if all the cities in our country have this yung mga batas sa kanilang mga syudad, kasi dito po sa CDO, Iligan City, we are encouraging to use eco bag. So when we shop na po sa mga mall or sa mga groceries, we are using eco bag. So 'di ba kung makakasave ka kung magdadala ka ng eco bag when you buy, hindi ka na bibili mismo sa mall or sa groceries. Okay, take fewer napkins. Okay, this is especially for the girls, no? When we use public toilet, 'di ba? So ginagawa ng iba, grabe makakuha ng mga, let's say, tissue paper. Grabe kumuha. It's just get enough for you, di ba? Hindi naman siguro necessary na kailangan marami tayong gagamitin. Kung ano lang kailangan natin, yun lang yung gamitin natin. shop vintage. Marami pang magaganda na mga bagay na pwede pang gamitin, di ba? Kung hindi pa kailangan bumili ng bago, why not? To lessen po yung mga basura natin. Yan po tandaan natin. Okay, also, donate what you don't use. It's true. So when we have this mga clothes na hindi na kasya, tell your parents na, Mama, ibigay natin to sa mga walang damit or yung kulang yung damit, ibigay natin, halimbawa, kapag may mga aksidente or mga disasters na nangyayari, yung mga sunog, baha, let's try to donate. But please naman po, kung mag-donate naman po tayo ng mga bagay-bagay, we need also to consider if that thing, that particular thing, is still usable. Kasi po, baka nako, gawing pang ano yan, baka hindi na po yan magagamit. So, baka basura na talaga yan. Ha? So, let's try to be considerate po sa gagamit din. Hindi ibig sabihin na hindi mo ginamit, kailangan gutay-gutay na yung ibigay mo. Kung pwede yung magagamit din naman, di ba po? Okay. Participate during election. I believe that the audiences here are high school students. And if you reach mga senior high school, di ba mayroon ng mga 18 years old, so try to, or not try, participate during election. Use your voice. Kasi po, iba pa rin, kahit yung isang boto mo, malaking impact po yon, malaking contribution po yon sa ating government. Okay, the fourth level is things you can do at work. Okay, maybe hindi pa kayo nagtatrabaho ngayon, but you can tell to your parents, di ba? And also, you can also make these things sa school or even to your community. Like this one, give fruits or snacks that you don't want. O ito po, di ba? Sometimes naging choosy tayo, ay, hindi ko gustong kainin to. So, ay, tatapon ko na lang ito or hindi ko to kainin until napapanis na. So, remember, sinabi ko kanina, maraming taong nagugutom. Try to share para hindi masayang yung mga pagkain natin. 'Di ba? Ito po yung isipin natin at isa pa kapag nag-share tayo, 'di ba? It's very parang ang ganda po sa feeling na makakatulong tayo or makashare tayo kahit konti. Hindi na po ibig sabihin na ibigay natin lahat. We can have our share lang yung sinasabi ko dito ha. Ibigay natin kung hindi natin gusto kainin para wala pong masasayang na pagkain. This one, mentor young people. O kayo, alam ko, most of you are ates and kuyas. Diba? Kailangan nating turuan yung mga bata natin. For example lang, uy, wag kang maging bully ha. Uy, mag-share ka. Baby, mag-share ka sa friends mo ng lollipop or let's say ganyan. Or baby, mag-share ka ng pagkain sa friends mo kapag naglalaro kayo. Uy, wag maging bully. Parang ganun. Let's try to educate the young people, no? Kahit bata pa sila. Kailan ba sila kailangang matuto? Walang other time but now. Today, kailangan nilang matuto. Kahit bata pa sila, we need to teach them. And okay, also let me go back to mentoring. Tell also your parents. For example, Mama, wag po tayong masyadong gumamit ng sasakyan kapag short distance. Mama, mag-hiking ka na lang or mag-walking ka na lang kasi sayang yung gasolina. 'Di ba? Or Mama, sabihin mo sa mama niyo or sa daddy niyo na, Daddy, wag kang palaging naglalakwat siya. Yung pagmumotor mo, nag-iiwan yan ng carbon footprints. Nakakasira yan sa environment. Parang ganun, 'di ba? I know that your parents will appreciate. Dahil alam naman natin that learning is a two-way process and also learning is forever. Kasi yung iba, yung mga matatanda na siguro, they're still willing to learn. So, turuan po natin, magtulungan po tayo, mabata man o matanda, if that purpose po is para po sa lahat, then let's do it. Okay, pangatlo po is raise your voice against discrimination. Ito yung sinasabi ko, mahirap, mayaman, maitim, maputi, wala pong sanang discrimination. We are all equal, di ba? Equal lang po tayo, tao lang po tayo. Kung may nagkakamali, let's accept. No need for bullying, no need for painful words. Let's try to be open-minded. Let's have empathy to others. Let's avoid discrimination. At work, at home, sa school, or wherever we are. Diba? We need to do against discrimination. Remember po that we should be part of the solution, not of the problem. I hope that you learned something today. Alam ko na alam na natin yung mga bagay na mabubuti, di ba? This session is just a reminder to all of us. Let's be a good person. Let's be helpful to our parents, to our community, to our government, and also let's consider our environment. Kasi po, sinasabi nga nila, di ba, ang buhay po is, hindi natin masabi hanggang kailan lang. So, as long as we live, we need to serve people, we need to take good care of our environment, and we need to serve God. Thank you so much po for listening. I hope that you enjoyed this session, and I am willing to answer your questions later. Thank you so much po for listening.
Sir Nonong, nakamute ka po. Sir Nonong.
Do you hear me now? Okay, thank you.
Yes po.
Definitely, it was most engaging and wow, ang dami talagang pulot-aral tayong na experience during the talk. In fact, sa dami ng mga bring up na dimensions for sustainability development goals, pwede mo talaga hanapin sa ng advocacy mo eh. Saan ka most passionate about, no? And for each dimension na, you can come up with a separate module na yun parang linatag sa ating lahat. And I'm sure maraming palaisipan. And ako personally, I'm very overwhelmed with what we need to do. So, you cannot be passive. Hindi ka pwede talagang nanonood lang. Kailangan makialam ka. Sabi nga kay ni Jurgen, kahit the lazy one, the most lazy amongst us, you can still do something. Wala ka talagang pwedeng takasan dyan, no? Now, to enrich our discussions, we will be joined by our guest panelists in the person of Christine Jimeno Rivadelo. Allow us to call you Tin, ha? We will call you Tin. Tin is the OIC and Operations Director of the Philippine Business for Social Progress, Inc., the largest business-led NGO at the forefront of strategic corporate citizenship for sustainable development and poverty reduction. Tin has been with the BPSP for 18 years. She has finished BS Community Development in the University of the Philippines, Diliman, and has units in Master of Arts in Sociology in the same university. Well, during home quarantine, she keeps herself busy by watching K-drama. Uy, anong favorite mo, Tin, ha? Okay, mag-share tayo ng notes, eh? And she participates in online discussions by giving reviews in suppliers' pages and by talking with friends and relatives through Messenger. Now, what she misses most are the travels in various provinces and remote communities and listening to stories of project stakeholders. Now, Tina is the wife to an electrical engineer, Nance, and to an 11-year-old Call of Duty online gamer, Ethan. So, would you like to share us your thoughts on the topic that was just discussed, Tina?
Yes, thank you, Sir Nonong. Thank you so much. Let me just share my screen. So, salamat po PLDT and UPOU for having me here today. So, yan. Can you see my screen, sir? Yeah. Okay. So Ma'am Jurgen was able to present to us the 17 SDGs and its relevance. So we repeat, the SDGs provide worldwide guidance for addressing the global challenges facing the international community. It is about better protecting the natural foundations of life and our planet everywhere and for everyone, and preserving people's opportunities to live in dignity and prosperity across generations. So yun po yung value ng SDG sa atin. And Ms. Jurgen was also able to comprehensively discuss with us the effects of COVID-19 to the SDGs. So allow me to share a one slide that captures the effect of COVID-19 to the SDGs. For this slide that I got online, 8 of the 17 SDGs are significantly impacted by COVID-19. So SDG 1, because of the decrease in economic activities. SDG 2, because of the effect of COVID in food production and also access to food. SDG 3, this is very apparent now with our public hospitals with overflowing patients. SDG 4, this new mode of learning, so adopting the blended, which is both online and modular, is challenging to teachers, students, and even to parents. And then SDG 5, gender equality. Yes, our women are more vulnerable at these times. They take care of homes. They are often the first to be laid off in companies and in factories. And then there are reports of violence against women. And then for SDG 8, companies have reduced manpower or have closed operations, leaving a lot of people unemployed. From March 2020 to February 2021, 9.1 million Filipinos have actually experienced being laid off because of COVID-19. And for SDG 10, reduce inequalities, COVID-19 actually increased inequalities and made economic disparities worse. And of course, SDG 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions. Conflicts arise internally in the Philippines because of political differences, social differences, and in the international community because of COVID, we hear stories of racial discrimination. So as presented by Ms. Jurgen earlier, the other SDGs are also affected because of COVID-19. So ladies and gentlemen, with COVID-19 and with what's happening around, definitely you and I are in a VUCA world. So yan, may bago tayong term, VUCA. Pag sinabing VUCA, you're in a volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous community. Parang pag Amerikano sasabihin, to put it simply, it's a crazy world out there. Or sa Pilipino, nakakaligalig, hindi natin alam ano ang pwedeng mangyari sa mga susunod na mga araw o mga taon. So we can actually go on and talk about how these things are affecting each one of us. But we can do something, young as we are, to minimize these problems. So I would like to leave to you today some nuggets of insights. Medyo mga titas of kami ngayon, titas of Infoteach, UPOU, titas kami ni Miss Jurgen ngayon to leave you some nuggets of wisdom. But first, let me briefly share with you what was I like 2 decades ago when I was about your age, or syempre older konti. So I actually lived a carefree life. I spent my college life living in the campus dormitory in UP Diliman. Actually, I had no problems before when it comes to my allowance because my parents regularly sent to me. I had a lot of friends. I was very active into organizations and I hold leadership positions. I even have a love life with my now husband. But during my 5th year as a student of electrical engineering, yes, I was a student of electrical engineering. And during my 5th year, I was actually kicked out. And that was the lowest moment of my life. I felt I was the biggest loser of my generation that time. I dreaded facing my batchmates and teachers because as the class valedictorian back in my high school in La Union, parang nakakahiya, di ba? Parang, ay, yung class valedictorian namin, na-kick out yan sa UP Diliman. Sa College of Engineering. But more than that was the dreadful feeling of having to face my parents, that guilt feeling of knowing that they have provided me all what I needed to make it in the university, but I failed them big time. So I stopped for one semester to think about things, and during that time, I spent my time volunteering and working for Greenpeace. So fortunately, by the next semester, I was accepted by the College of Social Work and Community Development. I told myself, syempre bata ka pa nung time na yun. So I was given this chance. So I want to do better. So, and I did really very well. So I finished 5 semesters with either a college scholar or a university scholar recognition. And I was able to finish a course that is related to the work that I do now with PBSP. So I completed actually my college studies in 8 years. And now if I look back, I know I could have done better. I could have made better decisions or choices when I was younger. But nevertheless, what matters most is now, and I make the most out of it. So back to you, young people. Allow me to share some small nuggets of wisdom. Para, di ba, parang while you're young, ito dapat naiisip na natin habang mga bata pa tayo. So these are just 7 points lang naman to. What you can do, and some are mentioned already by Ma'am Jurgen earlier. So first, read and be informed. Actually, you are a lucky bunch. With your generation, information is very accessible, and but there's a realization also that because of this tremendous amount of info out there, we should learn also to be critical and learn how to differentiate truth from lies. Now, if you have difficulties, then point number 2, find mentors. There are a lot of people out there who are willing to listen to you and guide you. You can have your parents, your titos, your titas, your favorite teacher, or an elder in your church or in your community. So, yon. Third, keep yourselves physically and mentally healthy. This is very basic. Eat and drink in moderation. Minsan kasi pag bata pa, grabe ang alak, yosi, kain. Fine, you are still young and you want to enjoy, but too much can be very bad to your health. So everything in moderation. For mental health, this is something, actually this is a very big concern during the pandemic. It can be very difficult. So what you can do is check what things you can do and make yourself busy. When depression or mga sad moments start to kick in, you talk with someone and do not be afraid to seek help. So fourth, ito marami kanina si Ma'am Jurgen sinabi dito, in our own little ways, be environment friendly. Indeed, one of the simplest things that we can do is just to reduce your purchase of material things. Alam ko maraming sale sa Lazada, sa Shopee, but remember these things will actually turn into waste eventually. Tamang gamit lang sa bahay. Tapos pag lumalabas, pag may binibili, gumamit ng reusable bags or reusable containers. So yun, maraming sinabi si Ma'am Jurgen kanina na tips on how to be environment friendly. So I hope may mga gawin tayo doon. Itong fifth, ito ano ngayon to? Uso daw to kasi ngayon sa mga kabataan yung cancel culture. So let's be encouraging. No to cancel culture. nakakalungkot lang these days. Because yung cancel culture isn't just a personal thing. It has become a collective and nagiging mob action na siya. It happens when people disapprove someone's action, for example, in social media. The growing tendency is to actually cancel right away that person. While it is important to promote accountability for individuals who have done wrong, it is important to help them grow from their mistakes and learn to change for the better through proper communication. Sabi nga ni Ma'am Jurgen kanina, no bullying. Let's do away with the toxic and harsh cancel culture. There is too much hatred around us that threaten peace and order. So young as we are, chill lang. I mean, iwas gulo, iwas away. Let's be parang instruments of peace lagi when we deal with people around us. So 6, I know some of you are ready to vote. So be involved, register, and vote. So registration is until September 30, 2021. So visit the COMELEC website for information, or there's this Facebook page of Vote Pilipinas for additional info. So ang masasabi ko lang, ang masishare ko lang, I was doing a roll call of the young people in my Facebook list kasi marami kaming scholars in PBSP. And some of them actually told me, nako ate, ayaw na naming mag-register kasi wala namang nangyayari pag bumoboto kami. Alam mo, this is sad because actually youth vote is very important. In the actual last election in the US, youth vote was one of the defining elements of the election. So, and in the Philippines, according to the Philippine Statistics Authority, yung Gen Zers or the millennials make up the biggest voting population in terms of age. Kaya malaki ang magagawa ng boto ng kabataan sa susunod na eleksyon. So for our younger audience, if you have ates, kuyas, titos, and titas who have not registered yet, please convince them to go out, register, and vote come election day. And last, this is actually very helpful. Be involved in your barangay sangguniang kabataan. Medyo yung iba ayaw masyado. If not, then join online youth groups. The past days, I have been browsing through Facebook, and these two sites are very informative and helpful. Yung online SGD Youth Action Forum Facebook page and the You Lead Initiative Inc. Facebook page. So dun sa online SDG Youth Action Forum, there's actually a free forum on sustainability this Sunday if you want to attend. And in August 7, 13, and 14, they will have the 9th Global Youth Summit. The theme for this summit is Achieving 2030 SDGs through Moral and Innovative Leadership. So I am not in a way part of this event, but I think if we want to really get involved, this is a very good opportunity to start with. So there, my 7 nuggets of wisdom that I hope you can put in your minds and in your hearts. So I end this presentation with a very nice quote on living life. So mga bata, life is short. Stop worrying so much. Have fun. Be grateful. Be yourself. Don't allow others to bring you down. Life is a one-time offer and live to your fullest. Actually, yung generation nyo is simply awesome. Alam ko na marami sa inyo, marami na rin ginagawa sa community ninyo. And I'm sure a lot of you are also involved now in the community pantries. So yung energy level ng mga bata ngayon, unstoppable. So sana we use these energies to make the country a better world for all of us. So I would love to hear from you and what you think young people can do at this time. So kung kailangan nyo ng kausap, ayan ang number ko sa Viber. Wala lang utang kasi wala akong pera. But yes, you can talk with me if you want someone to listen to you. just message me in my Viber. So muli, thank you for spending your time with us today and stay safe everyone. Salamat po. Thank you, sir. Thank you po.
Wow, salamat din, no? Very unselfish even with your life lessons, di ba? Pinakinggan natin ang buhay niya, parang K-drama nga, kung tutuusin, no? Punong-puno ng MMK moments, but she has the most nurturing ways, no? You know naman, we play tito and tita to this generation. So, you also talked about the impediments, the hindrances because of COVID, no? Kaya lang, di ba may kasabihan tayo kung gustuhin, maraming paraan. Kung ayaw, maraming dahilan. So there would be no dead ends. Now we come to the open forum portion. So I'll be peeping in the chat room to look at your questions right now. And I saw one. I stumbled upon one already. And it will be free for all, no? Magbibigay ng input si Tim, magbibigay ng inputs din si Jurgen. O rin, makikisaw-saw ako kung kailangan, di ba? So, the first question I stumbled upon is, meron po bang pagkakaiba ang Millennium Development Goals at Sustainable Development Goals? This comes from Lisa Delisan, no? Siguro she's coming from this point of view, no? She may be with the millennium generation or the Z, and nakapataw sa kanila di ba? Nakapataw sa kanila itong responsibility. Probably they feel the brunt of or the burden of what needs to be done. And you said nga, Tin, that the biggest percentage of our voting population will be coming from their generation. So it's a very defining moment for them when it comes to the call for action. So what can we say? Magkapareho ba yung Millennium Development Goals at yung Sustainable Development Goals? Are these parallel initiatives? Anyone, please?
Okay, hello Sir Greg. So I'm back, everyone.
Call me Nonong. Nonong na lang.
Okay po, Sir Nonong. Okay, MDGs po at SDGs are somewhat related. The MDGs po were established September 2000 and aim to reach those goals in the year 2015. So MDGs were set with 8 goals and 21 targets. And however, there were failure to reaching those goals. That's why nag-switch po tayo ngayon sa Sustainable Development Goals. Ang MDGs lang po were mainly focused doon sa mga developing countries. Unlike po sa SDGs, it is universal. So all countries that are member of the United Nations were encouraged to do some innovations and programs to reach these goals po. And take note, ang SDGs po, di ba, is 17 goals po na mayroong 169 targets. So somehow related sila, but the time is different and the number of goals and the target states or countries iba din po.
Okay, thank you. So parang magkapatid naman pala sila,
Yes.
diba? Actually, what we need are concerted efforts. It's really the time for collaboration. All sectors really must pitch in their share. Okay? Tin, may gusto kang idagdag?
Yes, actually po para siyang enhanced goals talaga siya. And sabi nga ni Ma'am Jurgen, dati developing countries lang yung target ng MDGs. Ngayon, the entire world, rich or poor man yan. And then nung ginawa po yung MDGs kasi, mga experts lang ang gumawa nito. Pero sa SDGs, nagkaroon ng consultation, kaya yung 193 UN member states and then other civil society groups also pitch in formulating the 17 SDGs. Medyo hindi rin kasi ganun din na-achieve yung 8 MDGs kasi yun 2015 dapat yung dapat ma-achieve natin yung 8 MDGs. So marami ring mga hindi na-achieve doon. So kaya in-enhance yung SDGs to make it 17, 169 targets, and then 230 plus indicators. So ang dami, no? Medyo madami siya. Madami po siya.
Okay, thank you. Now we have another question, okay? Probably from this person who wants to get her hands wet already. Gusto yung mag-contribute. Ang tanong, paano mag-uumpisa kaming mga bata to have the courage to contribute to the values of SDG, lalo na ngayon, hindi naman kami makalabas. Although Jurgen talked about the couch, point of view from the couch level lazy, pwede makakontribute, we might want to add, mukhang this person would like to do more than just the lazy level. Okay? Please, Jurgen.
Okay, so thank you for that question, no. Yes, hindi tayo or kayo magkakabataan, limited yung access niyo sa paglabas-labas. Now, what to do first is try to reflect ano ba ang pwede mong gawin sa iyong sarili at this moment and try to start on your own way. So, for example, kung nasa bahay ka, uy, magulo yung bahay or yung ventilador laging nag-on, so try to turn it off kung wala namang gumagamit. Anyway, pwede namang lahat po simulan sa bahay. Pwede simulan sa sarili. Kung ikaw dati is makulit ka sa iyong kapatid, binubuli mo siya, then, uy, alam mo pala na hindi pala yan nakakakamit yung, hindi natin makakamit yung peace kapag bully tayo. So, ganon. Try to build relationship with your parents. Let's use the pandemic para po magkaroon ng bonding. In some way, peace begins at home, remember? So, with that po, simulan sa sarili, try to reflect anong pwede gawin at this moment, then bago tayo mag-explore or i-pursue natin yung pwedeng gawin within the community. So, sarili mo na po.
May magagawa pa rin from
yes,
where you
may
are.
magagawa pa rin. Opo.
So, Tita Tin.
Yung mga online lagi, syempre mga nagki-K-drama o kaya mga nag-online. Maganda yung shinare ko na sa Facebook page kanina. That's the Online SDG Youth Action Forum. Ang reach ng mga discussions doon, and you also get to meet young people like you who are very interested to do something about the SDGs. So ano doon minsan nagpapasurvey sila which among the SDGs would be parang most important to you. So lumalabas dyan SDG 3, 4, 11, 2 at saka 8. Yun yung mga top SDGs nila. And then may mga discussions how they can join sa mga activities. Kahit online kasi, marami kayong nami-meet na tao. Ano lang ha, medyo careful lang tayo. Siyempre, ang social media very, very rich ngayon. So you have to really be very critical on the groups that you join in. So yes, that Facebook page would be a very good start for you to get involved. And syempre, sabi nga ni Ma'am Jurgen, basic sa bahay. Actually, kung gagawa kayo ng checklist ng pwedeng gawin sa bahay to see if this responds to the SDGs, para kayong gagawa ng listahan ng mga maglilinis, magre-repair ng mga tumutulong tubig, or even tutoring your younger siblings. Kasi 'di ba, yung merong SDG on education. So kung hirap sila ngayon, let's prepare our younger brothers and sisters also sa hamon ng mundo dahil sa COVID tsaka sa mga nangyayari ngayon. Yun. Thank you po.
Exactly, Tita Tin. At yung checklist na yan, binigay naman actually ni Jurgen. Okay?
Yes.
Now, there's a wealth of things that we can do actually. Now, we have here a posted comment. It's not a question, but I'd like to read, okay? Some sharing of insights. So, this came from the audience. Nagsimula na po kami ng barkada ko at maging mas conscious sa pag-aalaga ng environment kasi nakakalungkot po na yung mismong munisipyo namin hindi naman nila ginagawa yung dapat nilang gawin. So again, it's a voice of concern from a young person, but I'm glad you have the capacity for being constructive in your criticism of what needs to be done. That means you want something better. Kasi pag passive ka, anong pakialam ko dyan? Di ba? The fact na nagagalit ka, you're consumed also with this cause, di ba? Now, dyan po sa 17, what you call them, Jurgen? I call them dimension 17 areas, no, that you talked about. My question would be, on behalf of everyone, ang dami kasi nila ano ang pinakanangangailangan ng tulong? Or what would be the burning need, the crying need right now, na so much is at stake if we don't get our act together, no? Like what they mentioned there are getting a lot of help already. With the resources are coming in, it's being enabled. And saan naman yung, naku, kailangan tugunan talaga natin to ng pansin at parang nakakaligtaan. We don't have enough. Okay, so I would direct this question to both of you, and you might want to share your perceptions.
Okay. At present po, as I've mentioned, that our economy is, di ba po, nafi-fail. So the pandemic po, nagdala po siya ng great poverty sa lahat, especially yung naghihirap, mas lalong humirap. We need to address that one. And we can see all over the social media, sa mga news, mayroon na po mga individuals, di ba, na mayroong mga community pantry. Thankful po tayo sa kanila because of those initiative. Marami pong taong nagugutom at this moment, at kahit alam natin na maraming na-waste na food, we need also to address po talaga yung pagiging yung zero yung issue sa yung gutom na issue. Kasi yun po yung problema out of this moment. Kahit sino, 'di ba, naapektuhan ng pandemya, pero yung mga nag-suffer is yung mismong nasa the poorest of the poor. Yun po talagang kailangan i-address ngayon. At secondly, yung issue po sa sa mga immunization. We're thankful that our government is addressing that issue, especially po sa mga at risk dahil sa sa virus. So, I guess po ito po yung kailangan ibigyan natin ng pansin.
Okay. Alam mo, yung sagot mo, naging sagot sa tanong na pinost ngayon, no? But I will read the question just the same if you might want to add, no? Parang it's a case of nauna yung sagot sa tanong. But here's the question from Pauline May Obina. The pandemic indeed has worsened the situation in every aspect of our lives. Do you think there would be such big changes and big impacts of it towards our goals from before the pandemic started? If there are, what are those expected changes and impacts? So though you have answered this, baka may additional inputs also coming from Tita Tin, okay?
Ano po talaga, actually, wala namang nakaisip talaga that will be in this pandemic. Sobrang lahat tayo nagulat because of COVID-19. Of the 17 SDGs kasi na ako naman personally na may malaki yung impact, yung having decent work and yung sa economic situation natin. Kasi kabit-kabit kasi doon kung walang trabaho ang tao, wala siyang mapapakain sa pamilya niya, hindi niya mapapaaral ang pamilya niya. So makakalimutan ang environment. So gulo-gulo talaga. Mas mahirap talagang parang mag-survive sa ganong komunidad. So yes, hindi prepared. Everybody's not prepared sa pandemic na to. Kaya nga lagi nating sinasabi ang challenge sa atin. Huwag nating isipin na ang pagsugpo ng mga negative effects ng pandemic ay trabaho lang ng gobyerno, trabaho lang yan ng DepEd, trabaho lang ng kapitan namin yan. So meron tayo, bawat isa sa atin may magagawa para maibsan yung negative impact talaga ng COVID-19. Huwag tayong maging mga couch, mga couch. May ganun Oo, mga ganun daw. Kaya mga keyboard warriors, then huwag din tayong maging parang ang daming complain and parang get ourselves together, tapos get your acts together. Ano ba yung pwede kong magawa sa sarili ko? Actually, mahirap siya. Sabi ko nga lagi sa sa PBSP po kasi ang dami natin tinutulungang communities and daming gutom talaga ngayon. And nakakawa kasi may mga community leaders tayo na kasama namin na tumutulong din sa mga dapat tulungan. Pero kung sila rin gutom, mahirap, diba? So kabit-kabit yan. Let's not make things difficult sa ibang tao. A little act of kindness will always parang redound to ripples of kindness. Totoo yun When you do something, a small thing to somebody, nagkakaroon ng ripples kasi yan So that's what we call ripples of kindness. So yun, in our own little ways, alisin natin yung hate at at gumawa kung ano lang yung tamang pwede nating gawin para maibsan yung hirap na naranasan ng bawat isa ngayong COVID, ngayong pandemic. Mahirap siya, pero kung lahat tayo may ganong mentality of kindness and empathy, then it's a better place for all of us.
Yes, and Kat, our community relations head, just posted, the phrase "paying it forward." And
Yes.
both of you, I was struck. You were strong in your statements about being part of the solution. Pa? Kasi let's face it right now, no? With the crisis we find ourselves in, you're only either part of the solution or you're part of the problem. We cannot afford to be neutral. Either you are enabling, the attainment of our sustainable development goals, or you are shattering, nagiging pabigat ka. So probably young people, one thing you can ask yourselves, how am I being counted? Am I being part of the solution o nagiging pabigat ako? Definitely, we cannot afford to be neutral. That's why you're very strong in saying that you have to vote, di ba? Because your inputs matter. Your inputs bear weight. So it's really very challenging. I don't see questions anymore from our side, but I'd like you to give both your respective parting shots. No? These are challenging times, especially for the young people. At tayong mga titos at titas, we are passing the baton to them, di ba? We're very much involved, we're very much part of the game, but we realize to shape the future, the generations, these people, I don't know, I'm saying it's partly in a sad way that they're forced to grow up ahead of their time. Tayo ba nung bata tayo, anong preoccupation natin, di ba? Anong preoccupation natin nung bata tayo? Pero ngayon parang, wow, this is a crash course to maturity. Parang you're growing on the road and you're trying to protect yourself. How do I increase my threshold for these game changers, for VUCA, for that volatile, for that ambiguous thing that's happening right now? So I appeal to your words of wisdom, both of you, our parting shots. Even if what you will have to say for your parting shot will have the power to cause them insomnia tonight, that will be fine. Okay? That will be fine. Bigyan natin ng isang matinding palaisipan. Let's start with our distinguished resource person. I learned a lot from you. I would like to say that. Okay? So I was a student. So many things so many of what you presented will keep me awake. Okay? Go ahead, sure.
May natutunan. So, di ba, sabi nila that the present is a gift. So let's use this present time to make a little change even in our own way. So paano po mabago natin ang mundo kung tayo mismo ay hindi nagbabago? So let's have this we need to live happily, we need to serve our community, we need to serve our God. So hopefully that this pandemic also hindi siya masyado maka-apekto ng masyado, di ba, sa goal natin for prosperity in the near 2030. So happy lang po, be happy and contented.
Okay, thank you, Jurgen. Very inspiring. Now let's go to Teen, our Tita Teen.
Yes, muli, sa ating mga young people here, you only live once. So make the most out of it, whatever resources that we have now. You have social media. Nung bata kami, walang social media, walang internet. You have access to global information. So make the most out of it and trust that even if you are young, you can do something for this world. Para na rin sa mga magiging anak ninyo. Actually, ngayon ako, I have an 11-year-old son. Darating ka pala sa point na lahat ng nangyayari dito, iniisip mo na rin kung ano yung future ng magiging anak mo. Ganun yun. Dapat forward-looking tayo and then let's think of the future generations. And now is the right time to do that. So muli, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. And my personal parting shot, ang tao naman mas natututo sa kanyang pagkakamali kaysa sa kanyang tagumpay. we learn more from our mistakes than from our successes. Look at what happened to Tin, di ba? Valedictorian. And yet, may bounce back power pa rin
Yes.
because life is full of second and third chances. So the thing is, we might have made wrong choices in the past when it comes to caring for our environment, when it comes to being good stewards, responsible stewards of our resources. But let's not define the moment there because we have bounce back power. Now we realize these are ultimate wake up calls. So we need to get the act together. And it has to be together or not at all. Wala namang Rambo or Lone Ranger pagdating dito sa causes na linatag sa ating lahat. No? So top-notch teamwork, solidarity, and collaboration is needed from all of us. Siguro we refrain from the blame game. It's so easy to point fingers, and let's take personal responsibility and all be part of the solution. So that's from Tito Nonong naman. Now, I was so glad to moderate this. I would like to turn over the floor back to our host. Hey guys, a virtual round of applause to even to Dr. Ruel earlier, who shared that climate setter, okay, the way to set the pace for the session. So you've been very nice to talk to. Both Jurgen and Tita Teen, no? And I hope we can interface much more in future sessions because it doesn't end here. Ang indoctrination for your topic is not one time. It's never one time. It has to be constant. Alam naman ng tao, minsan madaling makalimot, no? Kailangan paalalahanan. So, ang mga mag-aaral dyan, alam ko marami tayong enlightenment na experience today. Be the voice in your home and in your community to trumpet meaningful change. So this is Kuya Nonong Noriega signing off as moderator. Thank you very much. Back to you, host.
Salamat po, Sir Nonong. Okay, so let's do it together. Sabi ni Sir Nonong. And also, i-clarify ko lang yung question kanina for Ma'am Jen regarding the difference of MDGs and SDGs. It was asked by Ivan Cruz and picked up by Miss Louisa Helisen. Okay, so for the presentation of certificates, may I call on, of course, our partner, Miss Catherine Diaz de Rivera. Miss Cat.
Hello. Hello again. Ayan. All right. So hindi natin patatagalin. Allow me to present our certificate of appreciation for Sir Nonong, Mr. Jose Gregorio F. Noriega, Employee Development Head of the PLDT Learning and Development Group, for being our moderator for today's session on Introduction to Sustainable Development Goals, May 14, 2021, here online. Thank you again, Sir Nonong, for sharing us your time and sharing the same advocacy and teaching and sharing the knowledge, making our discussions kanina very engaging, enlightening, and insightful.
My
On
pleasure.
behalf of PLDT, Ms. Cathy Elia Piang and Dr. Mel Bandalario of UPOU, thank you so much, Sir Nonong.
My pleasure. Anytime.
All right. Next po, let me present our next certificate of appreciation to Dr. Ruel Fantilanan Bermejo, CESO 5, Schools Division Superintendent of Iloilo City, for being our guest panelist for today's session on Introduction to Sustainable Development Goals, May 14, here online. Thank you po for sharing your insightful video message kanina. On behalf of PLDT, Ms. Cathy Elia Piang, and UPOU's Dr. Melinda Bandelaria, madamo gid nga salamat sa imo tiyon. Thank you po. Moreover, of course, let me present our certificate of appreciation to Ms. Christine or Tita Tin El Jimeno Revaledo, PBS Peace Officer in Charge and Director for Operations, for being our guest panelist for today's session on Introduction to Sustainable Development Goals, May 14, 2021, here online. We are extremely grateful for your yes when we invited you, for your time today. Thank you po.
Also. Thank you also, Miss Kat. Thank you po.
And most of all, your insights kanina sa topic natin today on how relevant it is for our students and how the youth can take part in this agenda. On behalf of PLDT, Ms. Cathy L. Yapyang, and UPOU's Dr. Mel Bandalaria, maraming salamat po, Tita Tin. All right, so last but not the least, we present our Certificate of Appreciation to Ms. Jurgen Aranas Romulo, Secondary School Teacher 3 from the Division of Cagayan de Oro City, for being our resource speaker for today's session on Introduction to Sustainable Development Goals, May 14, 2021, here online. Thank you po for sharing with us, with our students, a very informative as well as a very insightful lecture this morning. On behalf of PLDT, Ms. Cathy Yapyang, and Dr. Mel Bandelario of UPOU, salamat kaayo.
Thank you, Ma'am Kat.
Back to you, Ems. Thank
Salamat,
you.
Thank you, Miss Tin, Sir Nonong, and Miss Jen. And sino pa bang nakalimutan kong pasalamatan? Si SDS Bermejo, ang favorite natin. Okay, syempre, mention ko lang kasi naalala ko nung last time, as mentioned earlier, pangalawang resource speaker natin today from Cagayan de Oro City. So, dati si Ma'am Mary Luz Pelesco, tama ba, Miss Jen, nung Module 7, from CDO din siya. Actually, ipinasa kayo ni si ITO, si Mr. James Siho. Ang galing ni Sir James, Kumusta ka na, Sir James? So, nung una, ipinasa niya kay Ma'am Luz. So, just to make a recap, sabi ko nga dati, 3 beses na nating naging resource speaker ang mga taga-CDO. So, si Ma'am Mary Luz ay galing sa Phase 2 and Phase 4 ng ating Infoteach. And Ma'am Jen, yung ating resource speaker ngayon. Ma'am Jen, di ba Phase 5 ka kasama, no?
Opo, at Phase 4 din po.
Thank you so much. Okay, so dalawa kayo ni Ma'am Mary Luz sa Phase 4. Pero I think dun sa training na pumunta sa Los Baños,
ako po yun.
Sa Phase 5 ka pumunta.
Phase 5 po yun.
Oo, Phase 5. Kasi based on my list, si Ma'am Mary Luz yung nasa Phase 4 and 2. Thank you for that correction, Ma'am Jen. Anyway,
Miss Ems. Miss Ems.
Yes.
Okay, Anne, good morning.
Hi.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday! Nagulat naman ako.
Surprise!
Happy birthday!
Nakuha yung picture ko. Batchmate.
Siyempre.
That was 30 years ago ba?
Wala naman nagbago, Miss Ems.
Ha? Hindi, payat ako noon. That was kabatch ko kasi si Direct Lisa nung college. So, picture namin yan. Dapat sinama mo yung picture mo dyan, Direct Lisa.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Ang dami-daming, pinapakinggan ko yung mga lectures nila Jen at saka nila Christine kahapon. Parang, naiiyak naman ako. Parang nakakatuwa kasi alam mo yung sinasabi nila na tawag dito, parang tumulong ka. And yesterday, ayoko na sanang i-mention but nakita ko yung maliit na bagay na ginawa mo na malaki yung nagiging kapalit or marami yung
impact niya pala.
Hindi na ako pupunta sa details anyway, but andun din yung karma na pagkagawa mo ng mabuti, may balik ka agad. So medyo happy lang. So yun. Nawala ako sa script ko. Gulat ako sa iyo, Miss Kat. Akala ko, ikaw pa sa script mo. Sabi ko, teka, kailangan ko bang tawagin si Miss Kat? Sorry. But anyway, thank you po, Miss Tin, Sir Nonong, Ma'am Jen. Malaking tulong po sa atin sa paggawa ng public service na nandyan lang po kayo palagi, madali pong tawagin. So, masyado po kasi lang akong emotional siguro dahil masaya po ako sa Infoteach. Parang yung mga simpleng mga messages, nagbasa ako ng mga evaluation kagabi at tinitingnan ko kasi every session po, chine-check ko talaga kung ano yung sinisend yung mga comments. So, yung comment ng iba, most of the comments actually, congrats sa Infoteach kasi talagang excellent halos yung mga evaluation nila, and most of the comments ay napaka-positive. So ang saya lang. Tapos yung iba namang negative, syempre may mention ko din, usually yung sinasabi nila medyo mahaba tayo. But I would like to tell the students, kung medyo nahabaan kayo, you can cut it naman. Tapos balikan nyo later kasi alam nyo naman yung ating mga sites. Kasi sayang yung yung opportunity na makumpleto natin yung mga insights from our speakers. So, kaya pasensya na, alam ko late na naman kayo sa lunch niyo, dinagdagan pa ng birthday greetings, Anyway, so syempre proud na proud ako, Miss Jen, sa CDO. Yun nga sabi ko, medyo favorite kayo ng PLDT kasi 3 paces na, parang kayo lang yung naka 3 paces eh. Pero nakita ko na nag-champion kayo.
Ako pa, yes.
So, that's student category,
Opo.
So, gagaling talaga yung CDO at palagi ko ngang naaalala yung grabing suporta nung mayor nila sa education.
Opo.
Parang tumatanim talaga, yun yung talagang tumanim sa isip ko ever since. Parang sa tindi ng memory gap ko, hindi ko nakakalimutan yan. Yung mga speech niya, every time na attend ako ng graduation, talagang tumatatak. Okay, thank you, Miss Jen. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you so much din po.
Salamat. Ano na nga ang ating famous line? So, speaking of pasasalamat, wala pong Infoteach kung wala ang PLDT. Maraming salamat po, Miss Kat, and all her staff, Miss Annie, Miss Leslie, Miss Irene, and Miss Alice Tua. So, syempre si Sir Nonong, PLDT din yan. Salamat, Sir Nonong, sa pagtatak mo sa akin na MCMs. Naaliw ako dun sa tawag mo sa akin. Salamat din po sa ating production staff, Direct Liza, Lexter, Ann, Alan, David Bryce, Amabel, Rachel, at Daniel. Okay, some announcements again on the issuance of certificates. Kindly note that the name you will indicate in the certificate will be the same name that will appear on your certificate. So sana walang maling spelling para wala tayong problema sa certificates. Okay, so next session, maswerte po tayo. Ang ating finale, syempre ang ating resource person ay walang iba kundi ang ating chancellor, si Dr. Melinda Bandalaria. Ang topic po natin next week, lifelong learning. So please don't forget to evaluate this event and answer the questions. The online evaluation form will start receiving responses right after this event and will be available until Sunday, 12 noon. As shown in the screen, you may scan the QR code or go to the URL indicated. The certificates will be sent to those who completed their evaluation forms and were able to answer 7 out of 10 questions correctly. Okay, so please expect to receive, naghahanap ako ng tissue kasi baka nakikita nyo, tumutulo na yata yung sipon ko. Sorry. Maiyak-iyak ba? Sorry. Please expect to receive your certificates 5 working days after completing the evaluation and passing the quiz. So what have we learned, mga kaklase ko, mga classmates? So kay Dr. Bermejo, ang sinabi niya, sustainability happens when we care for our learners. And in general, that happens when we care for others. Okay? Kay Miss Tin, we only live once. Make the most of it. So, okay, classmates, let's all be a part of the solution. That's it for today. Don't forget our meetup next week, same day, same time, Friday at 10 a.m. This has been your MC, Ems Amolosa. Enjoy your weekend, everyone. Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.